So if you got, what time is it where you live, Victor? Let me know, maybe in the comment section. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Guys, hope everyone's doing well. Wherever you're streaming this, wherever you're watching us live, could you please like this video? Also, we have a busy, crazy week of boxing, in my opinion. There's fights today in Japan. There's fights in Mexico. There's fights in the States. There's a little card in the UK. So there's a lot of opportunities to make money. What's up, PJ? Hope everyone's well. Salute, Cookie. Appreciate you. Yeah, I just uploaded my latest breakdown. I'm not too, it's a 50-50 fight. We're obviously talking about the Darius Fulghum fight versus Bektimir. Man, it's just one of the matchmaking. You got to tip your hat to when there are main events like this, which, they're headlining at this little event in Vegas this weekend. And you don't really want to call it a crossroads fight, but in terms of when I think of like a career trajectory, like this is like a proving grounds fight. Both guys have something to prove. Who's hit me up? Okay, yeah. Like I said, if you haven't seen that video, I just uploaded it. That's in the playlist section of predictions. It's my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of DFG, Darius Fulghum, and Bektimir. So you can check that out if you haven't already. I got a lot of videos I gotta still do in terms of the film study stuff. We still have to get to Caleb. We have to get to Charlo. I want to get to the MJ fight. People really aren't talking about this guy, but this is the dude that, he's another Uzbek fighter. A lot of people think that he could fight. People have been putting his name up with anyway. So, hey, Johnny, do you even know when the next Pro Box event is? I'd have to look who you got. Puppet Show, what fight are you referencing? Who do I have? And then I want the Eric Priest is fighting. Khalil Ko's fighting. I'm sore from boxing today. Had a long, tough session, road work. Yeah, Cookie. So I'm up at 5:45 a.m. All I did so far with my calisthenics. Eric Priest, yeah, I think Eric Priest wins that fight. Yeah, so I've done already my push-ups, sit-ups. I've done a lot of isometric holds. So I'm a big fan of planking, wall sits. And then today I still have to do my cardio and then power lift. I do my powerlifting last a couple hours before sleep. But sleep, like I said, you guys Americans, you guys who's staying up for the Japan card? I know we've been covering it all week. Planks are undefeated. Yeah, I love planking. Do a video on Cole. I'm going to, PJ, for sure. And I'm kind of torn on that fight. Khalil Ko and Galagos. That fight's in Mexico. A lot of people online, a lot of people in our community are kind of referencing and commenting about what Galagos looks like right now. I don't know if people are insinuating he's on the good stuff, but they're saying his body looks different. Anyway, I try for anyway. Yeah, wherever you guys are, remember, I'll say it throughout the live. Just need you to like this video. That's all I ask for. Sorry about if you guys are hearing those rings. I'm getting hit up by Carlos. I'm getting hit up. Yeah, people are just hitting me up. So, yeah, the Japan card, my time. The first fight, the first prelim fight on the Japanese card starts at 3 p.m. in Australia. Cole lost the fight by Savage. Yeah. And he's Khalil Ko. And he's the favorite, which is crazy. So that's why people were kind of like, how's Ko the favorite in this fight? And right now in my book, wherever you guys are, Ko's $1.62. Meaning on the money line, if you take Ko to win, you get your money, $100 gets you 62. And Gallegos is a $2.45. Oh, Priest is the favorite. Yeah, Eric Priest is a big favorite. I think I have him at Priest is $1.16. And Arias is about a 4-1 dog. And I still don't know, like, Eric Priest, he's had good matchmaking. And, he comes from a good camp. And Priest, he's marketable. So I just don't know if you never know until you know when you're thinking about world-class talent. And they're moving him along. I think they probably should speed up that progress. And we'll see. Every time Priest fights, people tend to tune in. He's marketable, like I said. And he's $1.16. It's worth throwing it on a parlay. Gets you a little bit of juice. In terms of my picks tonight, I've been documenting, I did the breakdown of the Takai fight versus Tong Di. I did the breakdown of the Sugar News fight versus Rkkeshi. That seems like it's a 50-50 fight. A lot of you guys are kind of going back and forth on who you're taking, Rkkeshi or Sugar Nunez. I'm standing bold in my pick. Everything I've seen, where the odds are, especially, I'm going heavy tonight on the Japan. I've done a 2-leg parlay with the goal of hitting, and then I'm going to roll that over into this weekend's fights. So on my live stream Friday morning here, which is your Thursday night in America, I'm going to give you my long parlay. So with the probably like an 8-legger. And that's where I usually hit. I've hit a 14 leg. In the last month, I've hit a 14, a 10, a 12, and a 7, and an 8. So I'll be doing that on Friday. Right now, I'm working with just that 2-leg in Japan. I actually might throw... There's a fight they added on the undercard at $1.14. I might take that fight, but I really don't like taking a lot of the Japanese fighters in Japan. Let's talk Bektimir Fulgum. Who you got? PJ broke that fight down. Everything I'm looking at in terms of how Fulgum likes to fight, it's funny because Fulgum likes to fight with that bullying style, and we know Beck is called Beck the Bully. And in my prediction, this is solely based on who they face. This is solely based on strength of fight, strength of schedule, resume. I picked the Uzbek fighter. I picked Bektimir to beat Fulgum. For me, it's at 135. I was basically waiting for you to go live. Green. Oh, from Bulgaria, Vic. Appreciate you. Why Masanori become underdog even though he's number 1 ranked super featherweight? Well, Masanori is only the number 1 ranked super featherweight on BoxRec. Now, that's something to think about. BoxRec has their own different algorithm on how they do the rankings. You're talking about Masanori Rkkeshi. He is the underdog, and he's fighting at home. Southpaw, tall, you know, and I think a lot of people get excited about Nunez's record. 100% career knockout to win ratio, to be honest with you. So that's literally why I think those odds are the way they are. I think it's going to be, we're going to know real quick, is Rkkeshi going to play that game with Nunez? And will Rkkeshi be able to control Nunez from the outside? I don't really like Rkkeshi when he's in fighting. All the film I've watched on Rkkeshi, when he's in the pocket, it looks like he isn't too comfortable there. And I talked about this in my breakdown. When Rkkeshi exits the pocket, he moves on a straight line. And usually taller fighters do this naturally. His chin's kind of here rather than here. And I just think that's tailor-made for Sugar Nunez's style. Sugar Nunez wants to put you up against the ropes. He wants to in-fight you, give you both shoulders, give you both hips, and he throws those big power hooks. So remember, Bektimir got knocked out in his last fight? No, he didn't get knocked out in his last fight. Bektimir only has 1 loss, and he redeemed that loss. He lost to Gabe. His only loss was to Gabe, and then he beat Gabe. Do you think the fight goes the distance? Can Masanori win? You know what? I'm not too confident with this division in terms of fighting go the distance. Think about the fight we covered last week with Nathaniel Collins and Lee McGregor. A lot of people were picking McGregor to win. I picked Nathaniel Collins, so we got that victory. But, that was an all-Scotland fight. It was in Glasgow. 2 Scottish fighters, same level in their career. One was undefeated, one was 1 loss, and it was that fight to go to the next level, world class. It was for the WBC silver. And we know you win the WBC silver, you're in line for a world title shot. And surely everybody was like, they're going to fight their asses off. There's no way neither guy's going to get knocked out. And sure enough, Nathaniel Collins knocked out Lee McGregor. So you never know with these matchups with Rkkeshi and Nunez. You never know. Even though the stats say they're both finishers, the stats say each guy is durable. So one side of school of thought will be like, all right, they're both finishers. Someone's getting finished. But when you look at the durability and when you look at Nunez's knockouts, he's 100%. But he doesn't have like that one-punch Deontay Wilder electrocution knockout. His knockouts come, even look at his last five fights, they come late. He swarms you, he drowns you, he breaks you down. So his knockouts come in a different way. So, I could see why a lot of guys want to take the distance or the over on Rkkeshi and Nunez. I actually wouldn't mind that bet. I would... What's the over? Rather than go to the distance, what's the over on that? I don't know if my book's giving it to me. Like I said, I've only taken the money line. Guys, wherever you're tuning in, let me know. We got people from Bulgaria. We got people from America. I'm coming from Australia. If you're new to the channel, I'd like for you to subscribe. I'd like this video, and let's talk boxing. It's all I do on this channel. Who has better chin is what it comes. Yeah, durability, but also the body, PJ. I think that Nunez is going to invest in the body. Do you think the best way is money line or Nunez via random? On my parlay tonight, I'm going heavy on money line. Who you got in the Beck fight? I took Bektimir in that fight. Tongdi under 10.5 plus 110. Those are great odds. I took Takai to win money line. Yeah, I took Takai to win money line. I did a breakdown on that fight. I think Takai's world class. Takai's a dog. Yeah, a lot of people like Fulgum to get back to the full, but I don't like betting on guys that I really haven't seen get tested too much against when the matchup is against the guy who's been tested. And I'm always going to lean to the guy with the experience in terms of the adversity in the ring. And some of you guys commented on a video I did a while ago, not understanding that. But there's a lot of lessons you take from losses. And, the mental aspect of the game. We're going to know early Fulgum versus Bektimir, guys. Right off the bat, we're going to see Fulgum try to use that aggression and take control of the center, and we'll see what happens. I'm picking Beckamir. With the Takai fight, I think Takai is world class. I don't think Tong Di is on that level. So that's who I picked. I'm picking Takai to win that fight. And it's on my, I took Nunez and Takai money line to 1,400. Yeah, so he's only, like I said, the odds aren't great. Here's what I got him at. Yeah, I got him at $1.20. I'm interested. How do you rate Magnesi next to Sugar Nunez in that fight? Rkkeshi proved something for sure. He did. No, that he definitely did. I don't like doing boxing maths though. Personally, when I'm making my predictions, when I'm doing my analysis, I watch tape, I watch their fights. When I'm coming to terms with my prediction, I don't think it always works saying when you guys either like similar opponents or when one has fought a former high-level opponent, how they fared. I don't like using that in terms because fighting these guys leave so much in the ring every fight. A guy never looks the same. You don't really have guys who each fight, especially the older they get, they look the same in terms of how much they have left. That's why I'm interested in the Charlo versus Lammana fight. Due to Charlo's inactivity, Lammana, if they would have fought, if Charlo was a 4-fight-a-year guy, I wouldn't even hesitate on picking Charlo. And I'm still probably going to lean towards Charlo, but I'm interested in seeing what he looks like because Lammana stays active. He stays in the gym. He promotes fights. He lives in the fight game. I've been watching a lot of Charlo's training. Like I said last night on our live, Charlo looks stiff. He doesn't look... We'll see what he looks like. But the money line right now, guys, on... Yeah, Takai's down to $1.08. I can't find any recent fights from Lammana. I just follow the YouTube, the YSM. So his gym, where he trains out of, and some of the fighters he promotes, is YSM on YouTube, out of Philadelphia. But yeah, there's no way he's on the same level as Charlo. Exactly. It's a proper get back on track for Charlo to beat him. But I mean, inactivity as boxing fans, we hate to see it, and you see it a lot. We're seeing it a lot in that generation, actually. Granted, they're all in their mid-30s now, and guys just don't fight as much as they used to. You could blame it on the promotions, you could blame it on lifestyle, you could blame it on the money, whatever you want to blame it on. I mean, we'll see what happens. What's up, Willy Wonka from the Shy? Welcome, Illinois. That's what's up. I always tell people Chicago, when I lived in America, was one of my favorite cities in the U.S. for like 3 months out of the year. When it's nice, like in the summer, when it's nice, it's a great city. But as soon as it gets cold, man, that wind coming off the lake there is brutal. Similar to where I grew up near Cleveland. Guys, like the video. The money, I'm doing a 2-leg parlay, like I said. I've gone really heavy on 2 money lines tonight, Takai and Nunez. And I think the Takai fight's a lock. When we're talking about locks, Takai versus Tong Di, I'm very comfortable with that fight. It's only paying, I got it at $1.14. It's only paying $1.08 now, meaning you put 100 on Takai, you only get $8 back. And right now, Nunez, money has been coming back on Nunez. I got him at $1.58. He's $1.51. Meaning you put 100 on Nunez to just win on the money line, you get $51. How do you think Bektimir beats Fulgum, by decision or by knockout? I think that it's going to be Bektimir's power. I think that it's going to be Bektimir's clinch fighting. I think that he's going to lean and wear on him. And I think it's going to be his durability. Will he stop? I could see him stopping Fulgum. We've seen Fulgum, in fights, in recent fights, kind of get tired, kind of not carry his gas tank properly. And that just comes down to due to lack of pro experience. So we'll see what happens. That's what I'm leaning on. I'm leaning on Beck's ring experience his power, and what he does in the proximity in the close pockets. How much is heavy for you, if I might ask? Victor, I'm not. So right now, Charlo 2-1. My bad. Tell me if it comes back. It went silent because people were calling me. My phone is going crazy. I don't know if something happened. Let me know if you could hear me. Could you hear me now? Victor Zakov, what's up? All right, yeah. My phone's been ringing crazy. I don't know if something's going on, if something's happening in the boxing world, but I just got like 5 different calls. All right, cool. Definitely. So 2-1. If you guys like Charlo by knockout to knock Cornflake out, you get 2-1 money. I think that that's actually, it's later in the weekend. I think, yeah. Would you rather, because in terms of like you get more juice for the squeeze. Money line on Charlo is $1.09. Lammana's $8.25. We'll see what happens. I don't really like betting on, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Let me know, who do you think? What's Subriel Matias knockout to win ratio? I mean, it was 100%. It still might be. He doesn't win decisions. Matias has a really tough fight, guys. He's fighting Alberto Puello. Hats off to Subriel. When he lost to Liam Perro, a lot of people thought that guy was done. Perro goes into Puerto Rico, takes his belt, removes the whole, aura about Matias as this boogeyman knocking everybody out. And then he gets a couple victories, and now he's fighting for a world title again. I would only play the over on Charlo personally. I don't like betting on people if I can't see the recent fights. And that's wise, fresh, smart better. And it's great. And I like learning about you guys, your methods too. We all, as bettors, people who like waging money on boxing, we all have our sort of perimeters of how we go about our business. So that's one of them, like you said. Activity or inactivity? Willy Wonka, I do. I watch every UFC fight. I just like I said, I've been covering, my first thing was covering MMA, interviewing fighters, and writing books. So I'm a published author. I just miss a lot. Bektimir's neck is too wide to be taken down. I heard Fulgum fought with a dehydrated Harrison. Pearson is terrible. I think Bektimir will make it. Yeah, Nunez. I'm leaning that way too. To answer the UFC question, I still watch every UFC fight. It's just that in terms of documenting the fights and creating content, I don't like the space online. Boxing's my passion on that. But I've written, my first published book. In that book, I've traveled. Hoist Gracie's in that book. I've interviewed world champions from the sport, a lot of the OGs, Dan Severn, guys like that. Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock, Stipe's. I had a podcast where it was all MMA fighters back in the day. Stipe, Carlos Condit, Matt Brown, guys like that. I even had Bruce Buffer, did my intro for my old show. So yeah, I still watch MMA, still watch UFC, but boxing's my bread and butter. And UFC, guys, is hard to bet on lately. All the matchups, there's so much parity in UFC. It used, 5 years ago, I used to make a lot of money betting on UFC. Now it's tough, especially when it's so bad. The judges are so bad down here at Galagos vs. Co. Who you got, Galagos vs. Co? This is an interesting fight, man. I don't know if I'm going to have time to break that fight down. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't like predicting fights and analyzing them if I haven't done the film study. I know it's a rematch. I know that, they fought before. And I know the odds, it's crazy, man. Based on the odds and what I'm seeing, and based on what I've seen with Galagos this week of how he looks, the fights in Mexico, there's a lot of reasons to take. Manny Galagos is a $2.45, guys. $100 on him. What's up, Lonnie? $100 on him gets you $145 just on the money line. And Khalil Coe's $1.52 right now down here in Australia. He's a favorite. Man, how much does Coe? I don't know, guys. Without doing the film study, I like Manny to win that fight, to be honest with you. Nunez has only knocked out fighters coming off of losses over 3 losses. Yeah, Nunez doesn't have the best resume. I mean, we could all say that. Yeah, we know Sugar doesn't have the best resume. But you could only beat who they put in front of you. At one time, his best win was Rkkeshi, but that fight didn't age well. Is overrated. I mean, Godson, it's tough to it's boxing. It's boxing. You have 100% knockout to win ratio. I mean, call it overrated, call it what you will. But you know, the sport's filled with guys who don't have 100% knockout to win ratios. He does. So that's one of the reasons. You know what I'm saying? I always bring up, remember when Berlanga was coming up? Edgar. I think Edgar started 16-0. Not just 16 knockouts. Edgar had 16 first-round knockouts. So, I mean, and he's doing something with his career. So I don't know if Sugar Nunez is overrated. Maybe, does he have a fan base who talks about Sugar like he's the next coming? Yes. But, you know, it's tough to be a pro boxer and have 100% knockout to win ratio. He's fighting for a world title and call him overrated. Dubois, Puello, Canelo, Worley, Katie Taylor, Canelo. Damn, that's a long list. How likely to win? Walter, when that flew at me really quick. I don't like betting future parlays together. I saw Canelo in there. Do you have any money on Nunez? Yeah, crack viz. I have a lot of money on my parlay tonight, guys. I put this bet in my post section on the channel 3 days ago. I won a bunch of money this weekend on the Poland fights. Put you in the ring with anyone for $5 million, who would you call out? If they were to put you in the ring with anyone, so if you gave me $5 million to call out anyone, are we talking pro fighters? Are we talking influencers? I'm an old man, guys. I turned 43 in April. I still train, but I'm not trying to get hit in the head. I got to preserve this. There's a lot of questions coming in. Guys, wherever you are, like this video. My money tonight is on Sugar and Takai. Clarissa Shields. The women. I'm not going to talk trash on any pro fighter, especially Clarissa. Galagos. Yeah, I like Manny to win that fight. I don't understand why he's the underdog there. I think that's all, guys. There's a lot of opportunities for us to make money. Pro fighters. Who would I call? I wouldn't call out any pro fighters. I'm not that dumb. But Ko got skills. Ko could win the fight. Yeah, I'm not going to call out any pro fighters, man. I'm not that dumb. I train at a gym with pro fighters. These are young kids now, man. How do you like Takai and Nunez? That's okay. So how do I like Nunez? TKO mid-set. Somebody brought this up yesterday, and if you're gonna put like a little handful of change on that, that's a great bet. Because if I wasn't going a lot of money, like let's say I put $100 on Takai and Nunez for stoppages, it pays me 4-1. Now if I'm picking rounds, I would pick late rounds. So the 7-12 is a good pick. Is a better boxer. Galagos has advantage in weight, and he's very big. And it's in Mexico, guys. I'd like to see. Yeah, Jake Paul. There you go. I mean, I train. Jake Paul is from about an hour north of where I grew up. Like I said, people always ask me about him. I respect what he's done for the women's game. I respect him as a promoter. But as a boxer, man, I don't like our sport being kind of prostituted out. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Jake's an entrepreneur. He sees a point of difference or a return of investment, an opportunity to make money, and that's what he's doing. At least he's training, though. At least he's sparring. He's doing all that. But putting him in the talks of like actual legit, respectable boxers, man, I don't know, man. We'll see. His legacy still has to be written. We'll see what happens. I think as true blue boxing fans, we want to see all that he talks. Put your mouth up to it against a real fighter. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I mean, I told you guys yesterday on my live stream, when Chavez Jr. was in his prime, he fought a kid from my hometown, a club fighter from my gym. The Pride of Ohio, Billy Lyle. Google that fight. I don't want to go against you. Rkkeshi could win that fight. Jake Paul's big for you. Yeah, Jake Paul's what's Jake Paul? 6'1", 6'2", walks around at 230. I'm 5'11". I walk around at, I weigh 180. If I were, my fighting weight would probably be to be honest with you, I would cut down a lot. I probably would cut to 150, 154. Yeah, so I'd have to cut a lot. Naturally, I'm probably like a junior middleweight. That's why it's shocking, if you guys ever meet like some of these, when EJ, watching Errol Spence Jr. fight his career at 147 was insane. Just considering how big he was. I met him in an airport once, how thick he is and bodied up, walking around, and how much weight he'd have to cut to get to 47. So, I couldn't, that because I always put myself in those shoes. I'm about an inch taller, inch and a half taller than him, but I always think, how the hell was he making 47? Because if I had to make 54, I would kill myself. I'd have to cut 26 pounds to make 50, and I have only 7% body fat. I have no body fat, and I'm 43. So, but that's something to think about. Guys, somebody just mentioned Rkkeshi could win that fight. Rkkeshi could definitely win that fight. Like I'm saying, the more you follow my channel, the more you're gonna understand that I don't act like I'm an expert, looking like he's 200. Yeah, Crawford's in Australia right now. Bud's currently in Sydney doing a speaking tour. Love Yenli Hernandez, man. Yenli Hernandez is fighting this week, 100%. That's the guy. There's so many good fighters that nobody talks about. I love that fight too. What odds are you getting on Yenli? I have him $1.22. $100 gets you your money plus $22. Yeah. Kyron Davis, I think he beats. He should. I think he's going to handle Davis for sure. And I love that bet. That Yenli Hernandez fight is a great fight to throw in a parlay to just sauce it up a bit, to juice it up a bit. I didn't have those odds when I put my bet in for tonight for Japan, but if I would have thrown Yenli Hernandez on that fight. But like I said, Friday morning, my time, Thursday evening, your time, guys, I'm going to do my stream where we're going to build that long parlay. And all those picks are going to come from my breakdown videos. Like I said, we already have the 2 from Japan. I just uploaded the Bektimir fight versus DFG. I told you guys who I'm going for. Take it. Well, Jeremiah Nakatelia put up a good fight against Abdallah. You know, I'm high on Abdullah Mason. I like Abdullah Mason considering he's an Ohio guy. But that, you know, Nakatala is a good fighter. I don't know. I don't think so. Abdullah brings in a sort of, you guys know about this sport. When you're young, up and coming, you have an aura about yourself. Abdullah brings that into the ring. You know, he feels that he could beat anybody. Yeah, Kyron versus Yenli. Yeah, I think Abdullah Mason handles him, man. He's just getting better too. He's so young. He's another one of these guys similar to a lot of the channels on YouTube. When he got dropped, people were like, "Oh, he's chinny." And same with Inoue. Not comparing the two. You know, one's yeah. But you don't get dropped and come back up off the canvas and knock your opponent out. That's not being chinny. That's called having a chin. How does Itama versus Usyk play out? Come on. Are we really asking that right now? Itama versus Usyk? Yeah, I don't like... That's disrespectful, in my opinion, to even compare those two right now. You were going to mention your parlay. Yeah, for tonight, right now, guys, I just have a 2-leg parlay. It's the money lines on Sugar and Takai. But I would also throw, if you didn't put your money down yet, I would throw Narai. Look at your betting app. See if you could bet on a guy named Narai. It's his last name. He's fighting a guy named Hara. If you take Narai, these are money lines. How do you grab Kabyle? I believe he's dark. Yeah, Kabyle's a beast, man. People are sleeping on him. I don't see anyone beating Itama in the foreseeable future. He might as well fight the top dogs. I don't think he's ready to fight the top dogs yet, man. You can't be rushing these guys in that division. Think about the history of the heavyweight division in the last 2 years of guys being rushed or people being pushed on other people and seeing what happens. How many names come to mind? Jared Anderson. Look what happened recently, even though he's a little older, he's not young, with Bacoli. Mason versus Emiliano is a dream fight in the future. Yeah, I definitely agree. Both guys' skills are through the roof. I prefer to bet live on Nunez versus Rkkeshi. I don't know if Nunez is going to rush into it. I think Nunez is kind of a slow mover in terms of his rhythm throughout the fight. He does, like we talked about earlier, guys, Sugar doesn't have a lot of early round knockouts. He kind of like takes what you give him. He kind of like presses the button slowly, but before you know it, your back's against the ropes and he's throwing bombs. And when I did film study, my prediction is solely based on what Rkkeshi looks like in the pocket. What Rkkeshi looks like exiting the firefight. And we know Rkkeshi and a lot of these Japanese fighters have that warrior spirit. I think he's going to play Nunez's game. And I don't like the way his defense is when he exits. Chin's really high. Whenever people see you fight on TV, they automatically think you're ready for the best. Developing fighters is everything. That's why it's so important to... 100%. It's super important to have a good team around you. It's super important to have a promotional company who cares about you, which is a rare thing. You guys know that. And it's super important to have people in your circle to not rush you. That's why... who are your picks for the WBC Grand Prix 26, 40, 60, and 1? Yeah, like, guys, I got to be honest, when we're talking all these future picks, my mind, because I have money on it, is solely focused on Yokohama, Japan tonight. I believe if Abdullah will be a world champ at 35, Keyshawn. Abdullah's frame as well. He's long, And, he comes from a fighting family. He lives in the gym. He's disciplined. He does all the right things. He says all the right things. Guys, Narai is on the undercard tonight in Japan. Type in, it's the second card on the opener tonight. Narai versus Hara. Narai versus Hara. $1.14. He's going to walk this guy. Decision for a sprinkle. I like that sprinkle. I mean, will Rkkeshi be the first guy that Nunez doesn't stop? He could definitely be. Guys, think about when the kid from England, we just covered him. Rkkeshi. Rkkeshi vacated his IBF belt because he didn't want to fight as mandatory, which was Sugar Nunez, to fight Lee Wood. That fight just happened 2 weeks ago. We covered it. Rkkeshi beat Lee Wood, even though Wood was a smaller guy. He ducked Nunez. He didn't want to fight Sugar. Sugar's dangerous, man. Like I said, whenever you have that 100% knockout to win ratio, people are going to call you overrated, and people are going to say you're the best fighter in the world. I think Sugar Nunez is legit. For the division he fights in, you just don't see that knockout to win ratio at 130. And, if he was that overrated, why doesn't Rkkeshi knew he would get more money to fight Lee Wood? And Kakashi's 35, I think 36. Kudos to Rkkeshi for taking the bag. But if he thought, truthfully, that Nunez was a wash, he wouldn't have vacated his strap. Because fighters get paid more when you have the belt, when you're a world champion. So that we'll see if he gets another shot at 30. So that was a gamble. Rkkeshi, short-term gamble. I like Tito Mercado. I talked about Tito on the live stream yesterday. I like how marketable Tito is. I like how confident Tito is. We just got to see him against better competition. But not a lot of people want to fight him. Many people were saying Rkkeshi was better than Nunez. Why doesn't Rkkeshi... Kakashi's been on record. His people have been on record that I think it's IFTV saying that it was a more dangerous fight and that it wasn't lucrative. And I get that. We understand. Boxing's a business, especially for these fighters, mid-30s. You want to ensure your livelihood afterwards. So I understand that. But guys, if that wasn't a risky fight, he would have kept his belt and he would have fought him. But he didn't. And now it's vacated. And now kudos that either Nunez or Rkkeshi will get that belt. I love that you told Shakur that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not many people. I think Tito, boxing's filled with personalities like Mercado. I love that. I missed that last message, guys. Something about Thailand. I don't see that fight in Narai. US bet. Maybe pay attention closer to the fights. Maybe it pops up. Rkkeshi is better than Rkkeshi. I don't know, man. People got to watch out for Ruslan Abdullayev at 40. He'll definitely be champ. Yeah, no one's talking about MJ. MJ's fighting this weekend, guys. Sugar was born and raised in Sinaloa. Kid's gonna win. Yeah, Sugar's a beast. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Sugar Nunez, guys. Yeah, no one's fighting. No one's talking about. I haven't seen any channels talking about MJ. Muradan Akhmadaliev, the Uzbek fighter that everybody wants to fight. Well, all his fans saying he should be fighting anyway. There's a fight tonight in Thailand. Oh, there's a fight. I'm not getting any of those Thai predictions. Yeah, the only odds I'm getting tonight, guys, is Japan.